Hello. Hello.
Okay, that's it. I'm gonna spit in your mouth.
%, almost 1% from the funny number. Oh, yeah, only 1% away for Boki being only 68% himbo. Close, but no cigar, unfortunately, but that is A-okay. Oh my god, how am I doing? Hi there, Luke. I am doing fairly alright. Now, I know the last time we played the Whatsamahoosies, the last time we played the Yakuza game, I was in the Yakuza suit, but I honestly was kind of disappointed in like the effort that I put into it and such like that to get it working and such, because there was like all this weight painting nonsense and such. I didn't really feel comfortable. The dog won't stop barking. Don't worry about the dog. Where was I in my train of thought? So the Yakuza suit I was wearing in the previous Yakuza stream, it had all these... Oh my gosh, of course you're gonna do that. Grr. But yeah, the Yakuza suit is like I've shelved that to deal with within that time. There's plenty of Yakuza games I'm gonna need to go through, so, and I'm gonna be real, like, you know, quite frankly, I'm probably gonna, you know, I'm gonna go to Wolk or someone and just sort of be like, hi, can I hire you to do some retopoing and weight paints for this model to be applied onto my zebra? Cause like it's I'm not good at the 3D stuff yet, and every time I go into it, I'm basically having to get myself back in from scratch. Like it's weird for me to think that I've been doing like 3D like on and off for the hang on, why did I get it? It's weird to think that I've been doing the 3D thing like on and off for like the last 3-ish years. Like I've always done like something like at least once a month. I don't think there's been a month gone by yet that I haven't like done something. Hi there, Valkyrie. Welcome back. Good to have you. Hopefully you're doing okay. So, yeah, so until that Yakuza suit is done differently, I shall just be like this, my normal zebra thing. Cuz also, one of the other things, check it out. I fixed, hang on, wait. Yeah, no, I fixed some of the blend shape stuff. So I fixed some of the like some of the stuff that was going off in the mouth where one of the, like, or two of the vertices. I didn't realize this was a problem until like a stream or two later on. So, and I remember Wolk being like, "Oh yeah, just let me know if there's anything missing." Totally forgot to mention it, and I was like, "Wait, hang on. This is just like modeling nonsense. I could fix that," and I did. So I'm really, like, that's what I need in my like my 3D journey, is rather than trying to do some like really big nonsense such as like trying to do like the Yakuza decimating and all that kind of shit, which I'm not really good at, but instead just, you know, keep on going with like a little more of the modeling stuff until I'm confident in the, like, maybe going into sculpting and such. And then when I go into sculpting and I want to be like, you know, making it game ready and such, then I learn about retopo tools and such, and how all the cool kids do it. Because yeah. Hi Masonic, welcome to the stream. Hopefully you're doing all right. So yeah, and then what else has happened? Work, same old. Oh, this is gonna sound like it might be funny to some people, but so about a few days ago, my scales, my bathroom scales for weighing myself, I like weighing myself like on a almost daily basis sometimes, so then that way I can create this like little trend graph in my what's-a-mahoozy, in my Apple like health app. So rather than having a point of like, oh, back in April, you were like 100 and something.
Thank you, Jason, for the 27-month tier 1 sub.
Jason, thank you so much for subscribing for the last 27 months. You don't have to worry about advertisement, and you get to utilize all these cool emotes. I have created a new button. I have refreshed my sub button, so it shows like properly all the different emotes, both standard and animated, that you're able to use, because I've added in 2 new ones in the animation area, because it turns out I had like way more animation slots than I did like standard slots. So there's 2 emu fur ones, where there's one where it's just GrantZeebs arrive, which is the hello. It's just that silly hello one doing the arrive, and then there's like this one with my like long neck or something like that, where I'm just being extra smug. That's a cool profile icon. That one's actually new. But yeah, thank you, Jason. Thank you, Jason, for continuing your support and subscribing. I really appreciate it. So I'll only be able to get new emote slots when there's like more people subscribe to me, which is a very difficult thing. Like, cause like I put my goal down for like 100, because I feel like that's the, I feel like that one's like a very long sort of, like, that will take a while to get to and what have you, but I feel like if, I don't know, it feels like an appropriate round number to be like, you know, aiming for and such. I don't really have an aim for like the followers thing, because I don't have like the perfect idea of like, oh, how do I translate, you know, like any of my like followers and such like that into those that are actually interested in viewing and such? Because I don't know about you, but I do sometimes look at other people's like streams and what have you, like not just for the thing of like, oh, I want to see what this some hyena is doing, or hey, what happened to that lion that was streaming all those years ago, and then like maybe looking at Scribbly Noodle and being like, God, wish that was me. God, I wish I was so close to partner, but you know, not in like a jealous, envious sort of thing. Just like watching these things. But one of the things I notice is, I don't know, like with my follower count feels fairly high for the number of viewers I get. I don't know why. Like it just feels like I feel like I have too many followers is my issue because it's like, oh, like I can't surmise, like I can't surmise like the 1,000 or what have you, and then, you know, I'll have like maybe 10 people around or something like that in chat or sitting idly, but it's like I recognize most of the people. Too many followers can never have too many. You can never have too many followers, but there's a difference between, like, okay, this bots maybe. It's just one of those cases of like it feels like an empty number. It's like, oh, congratulations, you've got 1,200 followers, and it's like, cool, like, because the follower number doesn't really matter once you become affiliate. Like, there is no like further milestones to more followers other than like just pure number sake, I feel. But then, you know, I'm looking at this number, and then I look at like my stream, I look at some people's streams, and it's like, oh, this person's got like 500 followers and such, and they have like the same sort of views, like, you know, viewer count as I do, and I'm like, I feel like they deserve more. Like, something feels weird where it's like I'm sitting on like a 1,000 people, and someone that's doing like something like of the same quality of me is only getting like 400 or 500. I don't know. I just it feels a bit like I'm in this weird, I don't know, uncanny valley sort of thing where everyone's just sort of like, oh yeah, we'll give the Zeebs a follow, and then, you know, nothing happens. Oh, apparently 2 hours ago, someone named Mr. Barbecue followed me. No idea who this man is. Mr. Barbecue. Oh, they actually stream and shit like that. That's interesting. Ah, they're a friend of Dazzy. They like Dazzy streams from the looks of it, and they suggest them. No wonders. Alright, close that thing. Grant for partner? That's not gonna happen for a long time. Because here's the obvious thing. This is a hobby for me. There are factors, looking into the account date of when it was made. That's actually, that probably plays into this whole like this is a hobby thing. I'm not 100% interested in like going all the way into metagaming. I'm not too interested in like actually engaging. Cookie for Bookie. Here's your cookie, Bookie. I'm not 100% interested in, you know, actually engaging with any of the meta or algorithm plays that are going off and being like, oh, looking at when my viewers followed me and looking at like my viewer retention, I see that I need to keep myself to these varieties of games, and Twitch rewards me when I have at least this many hours into the stream, and that I should be going for these days with this content, and then, you know, converting that into a YouTube video and trying to be like all Mr. Beast with the subtitles below, being like, this evening I tried to go through Yakuza Kiwami, but I wasn't expecting this. Like, I'm not, like, too interested in that kind of stuff. If there's a cool clip, sure, I'm gonna put it on TikTok and YouTube. If there's, like, you know, me being distracted by a topic, I will absolutely engage in it and such, because that's, like, one of my more fun things to do. Because the reason I started this is because I was already playing video games, I already had a 3D model, and I was like, why don't I just use my 3D model as a VTuber while I'm playing video games, so then that way, if there's people I want to interact with or talk to, they can talk to me in the chat or in the Discord if I know them that well enough. I mean, hey, I started doing this just so you didn't go completely mental from only making art. Yeah, fair enough. Grant plushie when I'm more marketable. Sorry, like, I'm not Kusaki. I don't have, like, there's no indicators on my channel where I'm going to, like, somehow elevate myself from being a, oh, here's someone with, like, you know, a good living room's full of people that are very much, like, dedicated fans and, you know, interested in keeping him on the second monitor and what have you. Like, I'll be real, I would put myself on the second monitor as well. That's how I do with most of my streams, is I'm busy, you know, doing something front and center, like checking my Twitter on all the different, like, boobies and muscles I could possibly want, and then sharing that into the Discord later, which is over on the third monitor. So, my priorities are set fairly straight here. But, yeah, like, you know, there's no... I don't think there's a grand thingy-majiggy where it's like, oh, yes, this man right here is going to blow up. I very much appreciate when people, like, catch interest in me, though. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, like, when, Stack Up sent me an email, and they're like, hey, we love the energy that you did in Baldur's Gate 3, and I've been lurking a little bit, and you seem like sort of a nice fit for maybe doing a little bit of a stream for charity. And I was like, all right, tell me a bit more, and they told me a bit more, and I was like, absolutely, I am totally in for it, especially since in some, like, you know, veteran affairs and what have you is something that's sort of near and dear to my mom, and I very much want to, you know, do something that would make my mom proud, because this alone wouldn't make my mom proud. Maybe if this was, like, you know, making lots and lots of money, then sure, maybe my mom would be proud, but let's not hold our breath here. I'm just a dumb zebra on the internet who has hyperfixated on several different thingy-majiggies, going from, like, writing to 3D arts, and, you know, just overall playing video games, and whether or not the video games are going to be analytical or any of that sort of such. So yeah, I do what I can. Cookie! Cookie for Onyx! Oh, Masonic, sorry. Cookie for Masonic, there you go. So yeah. Oh! That, actually, sorry. I went on a huge tangent. I click my fingers a lot, don't I? I went on a huge tangent, because I needed to explain, like, something that happened, like, last week, where, essentially, my bathroom... Cookie for Bookie! Here's your cookie, Bookie! So, about, if you want to call me Onyx, I'm okay with it. I have you as Masonic in parentheses, and that's how I remember you, and, like, you know, it took me a while. Like, I'm not gonna forget that at any time soon. It was just a slip of the tongue there. But, goodness gracious. Ah, yes. So, my bathroom scales, while they were in the bathroom, were no longer working. Cookie for Jason! Here's your cookie, Jason. So, my bathroom scales... So, like, you know, the ones that you, like, you stand on and you weigh on, and they'll give you, like, a number in kilograms, or pounds if you're American, and, you know, that's how heavy you are and some shit. So, when I was going on to them, like, I was averaging about 130 kilos recently. Like, it's not great. You were recording it? Yeah, I normally just, you know, it's part of my morning ritual, because they're Bluetooth connected, and they will, you know, link up with my Apple Health. So then that way I have, like, a nice little trend graph of, like, oh, what my weight was like throughout the year, rather than it just being like a, here's your weight here when you thought you were going to exercise. Here's your weight here when you felt bad about something. It's like, rather than it being, like, random points and just going, like, really crazy, it's instead more of, like, a sort of flowy sort of thing. Because, like, back in 2018, it started off fairly high, and there was, like, a nice, like, sort of quick dip, and then it was slowly plateauing at 100 kilos. And then ever since then, it's been going back up since 2018. And then, like, it's stuck around, like, sort of the same sort of area in 2020. And then from 2021 onwards, I've now, like, gone between 120, 130 kilos, which isn't too great. And now I'm over 30, which just makes this whole... It makes this whole thing just going to be a lot harder than it needs to be, and would essentially need to go much further than normal in order to, like, lose weight and try and build muscle and what have you. Any whoosies. But yeah, normally I would stand on these scales and be like 130 kilos in the last few days. They errored out on me like, I think it was like last Tuesday. And I was like, oh shit, how did that fucking happen? The day after, still errored out, and I was like, oh, what the... And I looked on, I like checked the guide, or like, the manual, to be like, okay, what's my, like, what's the maximum weight? Like, have I somehow hit this maximum where it's like, oh, it doesn't really want to do it once you hit, like, over, like, say, 140 kilos or something like that. The maximum weight for these scales is 180 kilograms. I'm heavy, I'm big, I'm chunky in real life, but I'm not that heavy. I feel like if I was that heavy, I would have so many mental problems, and I wouldn't be streaming right now, and I would just be... Oh, terrible thoughts. Anywhoosies. So, I moved it out from the bathroom on, like, in one of the days, and I put it in the living room, wiped it down, checked the feet and such, put it down, and then when I stand on the scales, oh, perfectly fine. And they're just like, oh, you're 123 kilos. And I was just sort of like, ooh, that's good. That was a lot lower than I used to be, which is absolutely fantastic. And then we get to Saturday. And Saturday, sorry, not Saturday. We get to Sunday. And Sunday, I stand on the scales and it goes, oh, you're 31 kilos. And I was like, oh, okay. So, ignoring the fact that I somehow gained 7 kilos in like a day or two, which is like nearly impossible, I go onto the scales today, or sorry, no, Saturday I was 131 kilos, and then I go onto the scales Sunday, and the scales say I'm 141, no, today I ended up being, like, the scales are telling me I'm 140 kilos one day, and this afternoon I stepped on them after, like, giving them a wipe down and such, and the number is not popping up. I've had these, like, bathroom scales for, like, maybe 5 years now, maybe less. And I think I might have broken them, but not because I'm, like, that heavy. Let's be real. So, it's probably just a case of I've had them for so long now, and have been continually, like, you know, weighing myself at, you know, relatively such a heavy weight. So. Yeah. Which is why I've updated my throne to include, like, more, like, health kick sort of stuff. Actually, you know what I should add? Actually, I'll do it after stream. Need to buy new ones? I've put it on my throne. I need to look into getting some weights. So then that way, like, I want to, like, because I'm not going to go to the gym. I'm probably not going to do that. And the few times I want to do exercise and such, it's one of those cases of I just want to stay home. I don't want to go outside in the heat. I don't want to walk around, because, like, I don't have, like, you know, flattering exercise gear or anything like that. So, like, I don't like wearing shorts, for instance. I'm weird that way. Like, you would have to, like, catch me having, like, the biggest fucking euphoria high for me to have shorts. And that has not happened in a very long time. Hey, goodness gracious, Flu! You used to be a Kenku bard, and now look at you. You're Flu, the Kenku thief. Thief! How's it going, Flu? You just missed me, like, ranting about, like, trying to, you know, be, like, exercise weight and all that. You missed out on some good banter. Alright, what's going on with my thing? Oh, so thank you for the peck dance, Valkyrie. Yep, no, cool, that's fine. Alright, I need to get this game started. I need to pause the music when we get to it. Pickpockets your pants. You can't take the pants. That's never happening. Alrighty, Bing. We're gonna go to the chat thingy-ma-diggy. And then... Sega! Why can't I move the mouse? There we go. Ding. Dong. Me angry. Why is you angry, Flu? Why do you come in here with these negative vibes? After I laid my heart out about my weight. You hate to push for the next gen. You hate the push for next gen consoles. Ah, okay. Cookie for Bookie. Here's your cookie, Bookie. Fair enough. Well, the good news is you could play this You can play this game on like fucking Windows 10 or like the PlayStation 3. I'm pretty sure. Yes, autosave 2. So, we're going through more Yakuza shit, and I'm not wearing the suit. Cause here's the thing, is like, I would very much like to have this kind of attire on my Zeebs for the next time I feel fancy. Like, because I can do texture recoloring. I feel like that's an easy thing to do for me. I know how to do the texturing and shit. Photoshop is my passion. Gotta head to the battery sensors. Okay, so I need to head this way. So, like, if I'm given, like, a piece of attire and such, and the attire gives me the opportunity to, like, and, like, you know, there's a PNG file for me to be able to, like, do edits and what have you, and it's, like, you know, interpretable. Oh, absolutely. I would be having such a fucking ball creating all kinds of different, shirts and such. You've seen me with all my different shirts, right? Hang on. I gotta fight these guys. They thought having a fight with me in the rain would be, you know... Oh, not the micro-stuttering. For whatever reason, this game, Yakuza 0 and Kiwami have not solved their shit on micro-stuttering on a Windows 11 PC. There's no real way to fix this. Ow! Go.
Zeebs is a cutie.
Absolutely not. I'm not a cutie. Your brother offered to get me Skull and Bones. Imagine Assassin's Creed, but just a shit back. No, I've played. Fun fact. I actually played a little bit of the Skull and Bones open beta. I'm gonna be real with you. It's not it. It's a silly thing to pass the time. It is not $60 worth or anything like that. You're saying that the Yakuza series stutters on Windows 11? Damn. Yeah, like you saw it there. It does a micro stutter. So, you know, yeah. Hang on a second. So I've got like 3 points I can apply to things. That requires 85. Learn new battle stances. Increase. Alright, this is the one I probably want to improve. So, yep, so this will boost my... What? Why won't it... Why won't it... Oh my goodness. Do I have to, like, take this... Yeah, I do have to take this the long way. So... What's this one do? Resist guard while in heat to stay standing even when... Oh, okay, yeah, let's give that one. Let's grab that one. We boost our health. Your health recovers while drinking alcohol. Jesus, that's interesting. Health boost, boosting of the attack, boost it to extremes. Your health recovers more when you eat food. Is there a way for me to have, like, a bottomless stomach? That would be pretty cool. Boost your defenses while doing reverse guard. Boost your health. You are less likely to falter during a rush combo. Increase the damage of anything you throw while in heat. While in heat, you can throw an enemy who has you in a hold. Extend the distance of reducing the use of heat gauge when quick stepping. Boost your attack. Okay, so we want to go this way. So yeah, less likely to falter. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, we boost the attack damage. So yeah. So yeah, we'll need more for doing this side, which just boosts the health. And then yeah, it goes to 12, and it goes to 13. To forcibly disarm an enemy. Stability. Iron Fortitude, another boosting attack. Recovering while drinking alcohol will require like a lot of... That was good. And then this requires us, like, you know, going through the thing. Check the email from Majima's subordinate. And then that's Majima's thing. So that's the disarm. Get a wooden sword and complete the challenge. Obtain the Colosseum prize. Image of an Asura. Cat. Snake. Kami. Dharma. 4 gods. An image of an elephant. Tiger. Dragon. Alright. Should be easy enough. Cell phone. Please help. Hostess at the shrine hasn't gotten any customers. Asking for her. I'll check out the host club another time. Oh, this way. Oh, actually, let's see. Can I eat something? Let me eat something. Honestly, I wish there was more, like, these convenience stores are kind of cool. I wish grocery stores, like, weren't so expensive for the ready cooks, though. Like, that's very much my sort of thing. I have enough food as is. I should not purchase any more and just use, let's go with the pork. There we go. I am ready. My body is ready. I am full of pork. Prepare to get your ass handed to you. Wait, hang on. Didn't I already go here before? Oh, wait, no, I faced Majima and then got someone, so this is me just waiting at the batting cages now. And... What the hell are you doing? Okay, Takashi, prepare to get your ass handed to you. Yeah. There we go. Just Ura that guy. Oh, I don't need the heat thingy-majiggy to do the... I guess. Not interested. Hi, Sir Dragon! Hello there. Also, I just realized my guy is like... There's like a little gap at the bottom, as you can see. That's not supposed to happen. Hang on a second. Hello? Menu... Settings... graphics... 1920 by 1080. Set the windows. There we go. Now there isn't like a thingy-madiggy down there. How's it going? How you doing, Sir Dragon? Checking your handbill rating. Let's see. 37. Yeah, that's fairly alright. So yeah, mistaken identity moment here. And I don't know what this guy's on about. The Atobe family? What? Where would she go? What the fuck are with these punks?
お前チーム抜けるってよ。メールで済む話じゃねえだろうが。
Also, does that guy have a fucking... No, okay, never mind. I thought for a second this heavily pierced dude right here, like, you can see it. You can see this, like, fucking necklace that looked like it was going to be the Star of David or something.
いや、お前はとんざらするつもりだった。な根性だか
Don't
ら
know what the
よ。
fuck that
走りで鍛えて
that
やって
like
んだろうが。
little necklace is supposed to be, but that's not a Star of David. It confused me, I will be real with you, but
おっさん。
行けよ、高志。今日はちょうど打とうと思ってたんだ。ひねくれたカーブをな。
だと？
行け。
nice.
すまね。
Do I actually start with a bat, or
今さら謝っても遅えぞ。
おい、一つ貸しとくからな。
the Bee King? Okay. God damn it, my foot is like really itchy. I need to get like one of those I need to get like a little like foot bath thing, so and that, you know, the ones with like the like little engines in them or something, or maybe the ones with a fish in them. Can you get one of those like foot? Can you actually get a foot tub with little fishes in them and such? There we go, almost there. There we go. Aura his ass. There we go. It wasn't enough, but we'll get there. Yes! Ow, like, hang on.
クソが。
おい、
Yeah, I need one of those foot bath things. I think those would be good.
どっちにしろ、あいつは終わり
The
だ
way。he's done. What are you talking
辻もんが網張ってるからな。
なんでそこまでするんだ。
Why is he such a
あ
big
いつの
deal?
女、親父の金持って逃げたんだってよ。
親父の組の金か。
デボラってクラブだ。劇場前の。
Yeah.
手間のかかるガキだ。
Yeah. The youths. How old is Kiryu at this stage? Like, it's 2000 and like this is 2005, is it, or something like that? Like, how old is he? Oh my goodness, the rough thugs. What the fuck?
Oh?
Oh. Buddy, watch where you're walking. Oh, you guys again. This time he broke my lower back. Totally shattered. Oh, how dare you? The hell did you do that to my friend's back? Hurry up and have... No, we're going into another fight. We're going into another fight. Come on, let's do it. I'm rearing for a fight. Let's go. Let's do this. Yeah, that was amazing. Yes. Well, that guy's not drinking anytime. 37 years old in Kiwami. Ah, okay. So yeah, he can definitely say the youths. Is that all you got? Well, I mean, make peace, not war, you know? No fighting! Yes, what he said. Totally agree. His back is cured. He feels so limber. Oh my goodness, these guys. Well, they're defeated. I win again. Hey, 10 sub-stories done. Nice. I got myself some experience for that. Let me just have... There we go. Okay, I need to find... What's in the boots? I need to find the boots. Not right now, hooligans. I am oh, fine. Let's get into this fight. Alright, gangsters.
なんなんだ
Got him. There was only one? Okay, I guess there was only one. Alright, hang on. Talk to you. What's up with you? Where are you trying to get to? I'm trying to get to the Debola. Theater Front Plaza, head to the northwest corner. Nice. Alrighty. Hi there, Het. Welcome to the stream. I'm back in my casual himbo attire for the Yakuza stuff because, you know, I'm not all that great at it. I'm not all that great at it, but I'm not all that pleased with the work I did on the Yakuza suit that was given to me by Unnamed. And, you know, I either want to go, like, you know, I want to have, like, either another kick at it or give it to, like, Wolf to do some re-topoing and such. Alright, let's enter into here. Alrighty. Where would she be? Would she be upstairs on the VIP, like I said? Looks like. Alright. Who the hell are you? Ugh.
どきなさい。私はもう帰らないんだから。
お嬢申し訳ありませんが力ずくでも
たかしはどうする気？
お嬢をたぶらかしたガキです。きっちり落とし前つけさせていただきやす。
He's not trying to calm
そんな。
違うの。
her.
私が一人でお金を持ち出したんだから、たかしは関係ない。
お嬢違いやす。お嬢はそう仕向けられたんですよ。
京香下がってろ。ずっと前に決めたんだ。俺は何があっても京香を守るって。待てこらー。すいません兄貴、こいつ勝手に。
ずいぶん賑やかだな。外野の出る幕じゃねえ。引っ込んでろ。そうはいかねえ。あんたらそのガキ殺しかねんからな。
やかましい。
Yeah. Nice.
大した根性だな。この人数相手に。話はし
Tried
ねえ
and
だ。
trial and error we gained results.
Yuri!
That is true. So what is going? No, I guess not. Okay. Alrighty, Atawabe family. Oh, nice. Nice, they're all almost gone. Here we go. Backhand that fucker. Get to do it again? I guess I didn't have like the heat to do it. That's a shame. Oh well.
Takashi.
Takashi.
取った金は置い
Leave
て
the money and
ずうずうしす
and
ぎる
go. Don't push your luck.
ダメよ。お金もなくてこれからどうするの？
でもよ。
クソガキ。てめえそんな半端でお嬢と逃げる気か。チームじゃパシリで挙句にはメールで組に受けるってか。
黙りなさい。いいよ、たかし。もう行こう。
お嬢、親父は何よりお嬢の幸せを。
Jai, I...
ならなんでお父さんは来ないの？
それはその。
ふざけないでよ。私はね、お父さんがヤクザなばっかりに今まで散々だった。
分かってやす。お友達もできず、お嬢はずっとお一人きりだった。親父もそれが不憫でならねえと。
I swear I've read like a rom-com thing of like, oh, a lady from a Yakuza family. Like,
確かに今は半端です。
oh, maybe not this.
目いっぱい働きます。頑張って。
Never mind.
頑張って。
Thought my brain was onto something,
絶
but
対
it
に京香さん
wasn't.
を幸せにしますから。
口先だけか。
Talk is cheap. Do not cut your finger. No. No, 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 no.
よせ。お前は極道じゃねえんだ。さっき口にしたことをやりゃそれでいい。
Thank
あん
Christ
たもそれでいいな。
Security was here.
親父からの伝言です。
Excuse me while I read this
京
paper.
香、私は生まれついての極道だ。京香、私は生まれついての極道だ。何十人の部下を連れながら、だがたった一人の娘を幸せにしてやれない極道者だ。
Oh, this is the father in question, isn't it?
お前を抱きしめてやる資格はもうない。だから行け。京香をよろしくお願いします。
花から組長の描いた絵図通りってことか。
もういいんですかい？
そのモニターにじんじまって見れたもんじゃねえ。
こいつは。
あんたヤクザ嫌いなんだってな。
ええ。
いいのか。
あんたはせがれの選んだ女の親父。俺にはそれだけです。
立派な息子さんだ。
俺が育てたんじゃないですから。
うちもさ。
Lol. The two of them just sort of being like, oh, we can only see each other as the father of our children. I can't think further than that. Cash in a favor from the florist. Yay! We've completed this sort of. I'm gonna be real with you. This was very much a side story nonsense. Alright, so I gotta run all the way over there. No problem. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna take a taxi. I'm gonna be privileged. I am going to be rich, and I am going to take a taxi. I have the monies. It is easy enough to use. It will be no problem whatsoever. Oh, wrong taxi. Cookie for Bookie! Here's your cookie, Bookie! Oh, have you, like, moved into the new place yet? Or have you just sort of been in the room, experienced the air conditioning while waiting for the landlord? There we go. Got stuck. Alright. In we go. They'll DM you when they when they fix a dent in the wall. There's a dent in the wall? No, I didn't know about that. Alrighty. Moving on up to the east side. It's not big, but it's noticeable. Oh, yeah, it's a dent in the wall. I want to see this dent now. Alrighty, gotta run past all these charlatan and hookers and make my way to the florist. No, I don't like it when they say that, when they have like the fucking childish voice and they're just like Onisa. Nah, don't like it.
Ah, so da. The
father of Takashi's girlfriend left this for you.
京香って女のおやつさんか。
Kyoka's dad
俺にくれるの。
wanted me to have this.
ああ、ここで一緒に見ていたんだよ。
We were both here
お前に
watching
感
what
謝
you
してた
did.
ぞ。
He was a
まあ
very
せっか
something
くの
rather
差し入れ
man.
なんだ。
Consider it a
もらって
token of his
ああ、それ
appreciation.
から実
By
は
the
こ
way,
の地下街に
you
は
know
ちょっ
this
と
little
した
city
カ
has
ジ
an
ノ
underground
お前も
casino.
入れるようにしといたか
I've
ら
given you access. Drop by if you're feeling lucky. Eh. Alright. Time to get back to Serena. My goodness. Can't be distracted by cheap booze and sex potions. I have to find out what happened to Yuri. Oh, that was quick.
もしもし。
Moshi moshi.
あ、キルちゃん、私、
あ
Yep.
伊達
What's
さ
up?
んがセレナで酔いつぶれてるの。
Data-san's at Serena and his
ちょっと
blackout
セレナに
drunk.
来てくれない
Could
か
you
し
come
ら。
back to Serena for a bit?
そ
You
れじゃ
got it.
早
I'll
く。
head over. I was gonna head over there anyway, but okay. Let's go. Excuse me while I run. There's a dog! Hello, doggy. Hello. Doggy. No, let me pet you! Let me pet the dog! Why would you kick dogs, you fucking heartless man? Oh, that was just a light bulb. I thought it was something I could pick up. Never mind. This thing here. And then there's something over on Shikifuku Street. Well, there's a restaurant we can eat at, so we're probably gonna go for that. Thank you for the peck dance, Heck. How's it going this evening for you? Or maybe it's the morning for you. I don't know. Time zones are a funky thing. Here we are. This is the place for meat. Wow! It looks pretty expensive. Are you gonna be okay picking up the tab? Wait, what? Just kidding. I've got money, so you just enjoy yourself. I feel like this man is going to cheap me out of my money. Of course not. I want an amount of meat equal to the mass of one full-grown cow. Both. Wait, you mean you want 2 cows? Yes. Right away. Jesus Christ, this man can eat a lot. It's the morning. You haven't slept at all yesterday, but you also made a very big decision. Oh, okay. Are you okay with your big decision, or was it like keeping you up at night? I don't know what the big decision was, so like I'm in the dark with this stuff. Nani? If we're going to oh, God, oh, check it out. Hang on a second. Oh no, it's not doing the thing. Hang on a second. Actions. Ding. Give me a second. Ignoring bot and ignoring internal messages. Include grant. Oh, all right. Hang on. Let me try this again. Nani? There we go. You took all the soda, lemonade, and syrup at home and you put it through the sink. You've had these bad periods where you only eat chips and drink soda. You tried before to keep it under control, but you couldn't, so you decided to throw everything away and not touch it anymore. Hey, that's a big step. Nice work. Okay. All right, I can get behind that. Nice. Cool. Okay, so are you thinking you're gonna be off the stuff? So you did that like yesterday and such. Do you have like other food in the house and such, or are you gonna go grocery shopping in the morning? Cause like last week, actually, on Tuesday, when I got paid from work, I went grocery shopping for like all these ready cooked meals and such. And so I've tried to like stave away from going for Uber Eats deliveries and such. I'm gonna be real, I did fail not to do that over the weekend, but I've not done it at all on the weekday so far, and I just need to get through this week and this weekend before I get paid the next week, which will be good. The amount of sodas and chips I consume in a period. I could be on Freaky Eaters. A long time ago, well, not so long that it doesn't matter, but when I was going to university and such, I probably like easily went through like 2 liters of Coca-Cola in a day or an evening. Like, it was a crazy amount of soda. You've always wanted to go to a cabaret club, so this is your golden opportunity. Please take me to. Okay, so we're taking this guy out on the town. Why are we taking this guy out on the town? This makes no sense. What is this side story? Like, there was like all this Here's the jewel. You just came back from groceries. You plan for lunch. Your plan for lunch is yogurt with banana slices, and for dinner it's brown rice with raw red bell peppers and chicken. The chicken isn't raw, right? Just to clarify. Like, the peppers will be raw, but not the chicken. The chicken will be cooked. It is important to me that you know that you cook the chicken. Let's have a good fight. What?
Boy.
Whoa, why are you yelling? No, it isn't. Alrighty.
Hey. Yeah.
4 bottles of gold wine. You gotta cook the chicken or the chicken cooks you, but you don't live in... Look, chickens don't cook people, okay? You're thinking of a cockatrice or a basilisk. I'm pretty sure... No, a cockatrice is just a really big chicken. The basilisk is the chicken that breathes fire and has, like, the scales and things.
Nani?
Hey.
One-of-a-kind experience. A turducken. I've never had a turducken. I feel like it's excessive. The chicken is cooked. Another streamer told me that potatoes have a lot of sugar in them, which is kind of sad because you love cooking with potatoes, but maybe a good moment to switch to pasta and rice. If you're like trying to like, you know, tone down on the sugar and such, like here's the thing. That whole like, oh, potatoes are filled with sugar, they're not. Like, fruits are also filled with sugar and such like that. Potatoes are filled, like, the thing that is of concern if you don't moderate your potato consumption is starch. It will dry up your body and you will hold on to a lot of water weight and such like that. But sugar is not like the biggest issue. Not unless you're going for like, you know, fucking 7 sweet potatoes or something crazy like that. Shabor! Thank you for the follow! Hopefully I said that correctly. Is that how it wasn't there. Okay, never mind. I keep thinking, like, if, like, the notification's gonna go off and I can just, like, go up here the same way that I go over here to chat to see what people are saying. Shabor! Excellent! Lol. Alrighty. But yeah. So it's like that's the thing about cooking is, you know, you have to find the stuff that you are fine with in moderation. That's essentially what it is. Because, like, for instance, like, I just need to find a... Okay, do you wanted to look at my chest? Look at that, look at that. While I try to avoid salt and sugars the most, so tea and water instead of soda and lime, rice instead of potatoes, chicken instead of beef, cucumber instead of chips, and so on. Okay, okay. Alright, well, I wish you the best with this kind of change. I kind of want to be able to do that kind of change for myself as well. I don't think I'm there yet, but I would love to hear how you go, like, because I'll be streaming again Wednesday night. So if you're here again Wednesday, I would love to hear how it went for the last few days. So, because it sounds like, so you got your chicken and bell peppers today, and then you got your, like, your yogurt with bananas, and is for the lunch. So I'll be interested to hear if it's like, if you're going to be like one of those who will be able to like have multiple days where it's the same meal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or if you're going to be like, you know, really experimenting with all kinds of different foods. All right, let's fight, you guys. I'm lucky that I have a lot of things already, and I like cooking. Nice! That's good to hear. Well, there's an advertisement going off. When the advertisement is done, when the advertisement is done, remind me that I need to, like, talk about my cooking thingy-majiggy. Hang on, I need to eat something. Let's go to you. Wait, can I not enter from this side? Oh, okay, I guess I have to enter in through this side. Give me the large... Yeah, I can eat both of them. Umai. Got some XP for eating the food, which is alright. Alright. No, I'm not gonna stop. I want to get to Serena's. Is there anyone chasing after me? No, there isn't. Oh, why'd you gotta pixelate me? You just hope I can push through on the hard moments. Well, actually, can you hear me talk? And you're back? Why is my not getting any ads? I feel like I'm cheating the system in here. Maybe you have like an ad blocker or some shit like that, Valkyrie. Who knows? Or you got Twitch Turbo. Maybe that's why you got Twitch Turbo. Because, you know, hang on a second. So, fun fact. If you have Twitch Turbo, any advertisements that, you know, pop off on the stream, you don't see. And you get counted as like a viewer that's had to see the advertisements or what have you, which is totally fine. If you're subscribed to me, you don't see any of the advertisement, but I don't get any of the ad revenue for having a subscriber, you know, sitting through a segment that normally would have had advertisement. If, however, you are subscribed to me and you're a Twitch Turbo user, Not only have you supported me directly with the with the subscriber thing, but the Twitch Turbo still applies. So then when you are going through the segment and you're not sitting in advertising because of either Twitch Turbo or the subscriber, I still get the ad revenue for you, a subscriber, but with Twitch Turbo, you know, applying it to my metrics, which is fantastic. That's the thing, you don't have any ad blockers or Turbo. It's just 1D for the ad blocker. It's like... Actually, can I do Nani?
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 Nani? I need to get more Nanis. I found I found one that did like, no, not daddy, Nani. It's like, what? So, anywhoosies. I need to put my gear back on. Increase your heat by draining your opponents when you attack. Nice. To shake down with a thingy, dagger, iron pipe, a sakura sword, a gun. I don't need daddies, alright? I don't need that in my life. Damn it, I was so close. Let's see, that requires 3, so yeah, we'll go with that one. Alrighty. Talk to me, date. See the stuttering that's going off right now?
さあね、いろいろあるみたい。
Yes. Yes, I have. I have thought about putting a beard on my zebra. I have thought about I thought about maybe a model or a reference sheet update for my zebra. Something that, you know, rather than it being, you know, this, like, you know, crazy, rather than, like, the Dorito crazy proportion of my zebra, because I'm, like, now, like, 30, and, you know, this year I'll be over 30 when it gets to my birthday again, but maybe having, like, just a little, like, not, like, a proper representation of my IRL body, but having more elements of my IRL body being applied. And, yeah, beard is, like, maybe one of them. Not a Kratos-styled beard. That would be ridiculous on my zebra. Like, it would be like just a, you know, 5 o'clock shadows sort of thing. Incoming call from Saya. Whoever that is.
Nani?
さやって女からだが、伊達さん、約束すっぽかしたようだな。
それ、伊達さんの娘さんよ。さっき酔っ払いながら言ってた。この辺で会う約束してたみたいだけど、しょうがないわね。
この辺？
ここの向かいに裏路地あるでしょ？そこに第三公園って小さな公園があるの。
おじさん、どこ行ってたの？
I'm sorry. I still have stuff to do. Do you mind waiting? Alrighty. Amazingly enough, I have not been interrupted by Majima in a whiles.
ねえ、おじさん、暇？これから私たちと遊ばない？一人でもいいし、二人一緒でも OK。条件は特にないけど、無茶なのは勘弁ね。
No.
どういう意味だ？
Not interested.
どういう意味って？
This is a trap. Do not fall for this. If you have high school little girls like approaching you and you are not in high school anymore, do not approach them. Do not talk to them. There is no reason high school students will ever need to talk to a full-grown adult that they are not a teacher or any of that kind of nonsense, okay? Just, it's a trap.
ごめんね。やっぱなんでもない。でもどうすんのさや。すぐに見つかるって行こう。
さや。
ちょっと。
伊達さんの娘か。
What a ridiculous fucking uniform.
伊達さんは知ってんのか。
はあ？知ってるわけないじゃん。頭おかしいんじゃないの？
お前らよりはマシだ。俺は自分を安売りしたりはしねえ。
関係ないでしょ。ちくりたきゃちくりゃいいじゃん。とにかくお金が必要なの。ほっといてよ。さや。
Well, we're getting through this stuff. Who you think? I would never go after high school. Good. I'm very thankful that my chat is filled with people that wouldn't be chasing after high school students. I just feel like I have to very much say that out loud because the internet is absolutely fucking degeneracy. I only go after the boys. Do not go after high school boys.
ねえおじさん、あの子おじさん強そうだし、さや。
Oh great. Now I have to help another random. Why am I getting all these side quest nonsense? Hey, stop picking on him. I am not old enough to be your daddy, and I do not have that dad energy like strictly needed. I'm at best a fun uncle. My niece calls me uncle. She doesn't know. When she first met me and could talk and think, or barely talk. I don't know how my sister understands what she was saying when she was like 3 years old. But apparently she totally understood what my niece was going on about and such. But anywhoosies, she couldn't say uncle when she was talking and such like that at first. And so the nickname that I got as her uncle was Unk. Just UNC. Unk. Real unga bunga energy there. She's calling me fucking ugly. My name isn't Grant in real life. They don't get to use my persona name. Whenever I hear my persona name in real life, there is like a quick moment where I'm like, oh wait, and then I'm like, but then it's like, you know, I'm at work. No one knows my persona name is Grant. So I have to like sort of not be obvious when I'm like, if I'm not paying attention to suddenly paying attention. I just have to sort of be like just sort of going back into the conversation rather than like, you know, a sudden jolt. There we go. Bam. Unk. Being the most handsome man on the block. Well, Kiryu is obviously the most handsome man on this block, as we can see. Also, look at all these. See here? Blue, if you're in the chat, look at this. Look at this man. All right? Now, if you ask an American, don't look at my pecs, but focus on this dude right here, okay? See that dude right there? Now, to an American, that may not be masculine. But, thank you for the hyper himbo there, Sir Dragon. But to Japan, oh, that is charismatic male, like, traits. That is some strong male, like, you know, masculine energies right there, Blue. Like, hang on, what the? Rena? I'm working now. If you have some time, please come by the club. I did not realize I could have a thing to do with Rena, but it's not important right now, Rena. I have more important things to do, thank you very much. Oh, wait, stop picking on him. Thank you for the pick dance. We're not popping balloons. I need to figure out what to do with this junk. Alrighty, so... is it here I need to go to? Yep. Shellac.
いらっしゃいませ。
翔太郎はいるか。
お客さん、知り合いかい？
Yeah, I'm a friend.
そうかい。そうだな。一つゲームをしよう。うちで一番高いものを当ててみな。口の利き。いらっしゃいませ。お客さん、知り合いかい？そうだな。一つゲームをしよう。もう、気に入ったぜ。おし、翔太郎ならもういないよ。3ヶ月くらい前からスターダスト。
Oh my god. First time tea and then back to writing work. Subject 1 fox and 5 bull daddies. Jesus Christ. What the hell are you gonna... what the hell is gonna happen to the fox? Wait, why is the fox with like 5 bulls? That makes no sense. Nah, I'm not gonna question the writer. They probably have a reason. Hi there, Wild Saber. You discovered your first hacker in Fortnite. Climb. I'm not reading all that. Ugh. That is a lot of words, Wild Saber. Too many words for Himbo to read this evening. It very much is. Nips are exposed. Hide your children. Look, I nerfed the nippies, okay? But if you hyper Himbo me, there's going to be a little more nippy. Alrighty? It is not my fault. Chat's just horny. Okay? It's not my fault at all. Wait, stop. Stop making the lady uncomfortable. Alright? You'll whisper me the story when you're done? No, it's okay. You don't need to explain it. I was just trying to do a bit. It's alright. I'm imagining it's like a sex thing or something or other, much like the whole, like, you know, girl on the couch with 5 guys behind her. There we go. Alrighty, inventory. There we go. Did not heal me. Oh my god, you guys. Oh! Long time no see. Is away at the moment. He should be back in an hour or so. Ah! Oh! Alrighty, so I guess I'm going here. You was stuck in the dryer and missed the answer? No, it's okay, it's okay. Alright, so Yuya.
Yeah.
We're looking for a man named Shota.
あそこにいるのがそうです。あ、ちょっと。
伊達さんか？
Oh, look at Date. He's just gonna fucking...
お父さん
お客さん困ります。
どけ。
翔太大丈夫？
さや、お前こんなとこで。
こんなとこで？何よ、今さら父親面？今日だって約束すっぽかしたくせに。
Hi there, gamer. Don't act innocent. I've seen your FA. We don't talk about the FA.
だって何も言ってくれないし。
We don't talk about it. All right, there's nothing to talk about.
さや。
Also, hi, welcome to the stream. Hopefully you're doing all right.
さやちゃん。
I am not vibing with this main storyline. Like, we've just now gone through, like... We've just, like, this is like our second, you know, not related to the main story that we've just gone through right now.
おい、何やってんだ。
なんだおっさん。
その子から手離せ。
ああ、この女はな、うちの会社に借金があんだよ。関係ねえから引っ込んだろ。
借金？
ああ、この女、ホストクラブ通い詰めて借金まみれよ。借りた金返さないって言うから体で稼いでもらおうってわけ。今度ビデオでデビューすっからよ。おっさんも買ってくれ。
Yes!
やろう。
お父さん。
Glad to see you. I'm helping.
お前。
てめえら覚悟はできてんだろうな。
伊達さん、話は後にしようぜ。
Alright. Have some tea. What is up with my body? What is up with my body this week? My neck is sore, my sides are sore, the top of my feet is itchy. You just like how there's a teapot there with hot tea? Yeah, like, have you never had a hankering for hot tea while going out?
一人で行っちゃったけど大丈夫ですかね
Alright, what are we doing? Also, I read titles. You are a handsome boy. Thank you! I didn't know what I was gonna write, and I was just like, fuck it. You're a little worried. About what? About Shota. He's a great earner, and he's polite enough, but I don't really like the crowd he falls in with. Hope he's not involved in anything weird. He probably was involved in something very weird, so let's be glad we don't have to worry about him anymore.
桐生さん、翔太が言ったの。町金から借りた店のツケ、すぐ返さないとまずいから、どうにかして金作れって。
いつからそんなことを。
本当は初めてだったの。でも来週までにお金を用意できなかったら、翔太殺されるかもって言うから。
てめえの命を惜しくて自分の女に何とかしろってのが。本当にお前を大事にしてるならそんなこと言えるわけがね。
でも私には翔太しかいないから。
伊達さんならお前を守ろうとする。自分がどんな目に遭わされようともな。お前のことを一番大事に思ってるのは翔太じゃない。伊達さんだ。
ねえ桐生さん、私お父さんが心配。
その町金の場所わかるか？
ピンク通りの花形ビル、そこがあいつらの事務所なの。
雄三さや、お前も一緒に来るんだ。
Spoiler, he's a furry. What, this guy? Kiryu? Or are you talking about the, like, the terrible boyfriend?
やっぱりそうじゃないかと思ったのよね。
わかるのか？
だって桐生さん、どこからどう見てもヤクザだもの。四課の人って本職の人よりそれっぽいって言うじゃない？
え？四課？
ほんと刑事って周りのこと見えてないんだから、もっと普通の公務員らしい格好をしてほしいのよね。
Oh, she thinks he's a cop? He ain't a cop.
そういうことにしておく。おい、そこのお前。
Alright, fine. Let's have a fight. Oh, it's Yakuza in this case. Alright. Get folded like an omelet. Shota, he's into something weird. Oh, maybe so. I don't know if it's furries. We don't want to give a bad name for furries on this one. Furries have got enough shit to deal with already rather than just piling on to them.
家でも喧嘩ばかりだし、そんな時翔太に出会って。
借金をする羽目になったか。ほど。
Alrighty.
お前ら。ねえあんた。さやの親父さんなら金払ってよ。そしたらビデオの話は忘れてやるよ。
いくらなんだ？
店のツケが20。俺が立て替えたから利子と合わせて400。
That is some ridiculous.
うちの系列で金借りたのよ。その利子が乗っかってんだよ。
バカな。払えないんだったらさやちゃんしょうがないでしょ。
Oh, they're in trouble.
へえ、4か。丸棒じゃねえか。
マジか。やべえじゃねえかよ。
まあ待てよ。お父さんさ、丸棒だったら押収した拳銃とか山ほどあんだろ。
何？
そいつを回してくれたら、サヤの借金チャラにしてやるよ。
We're not gonna give you guns.
いい話だろ。
話にならねえよ。
強がってんじゃねえよ。
翔太、なんで？
薄情な親父だね、あんた。娘、大事じゃないの？
大事だ。大事に決まってんだろ。さやには指一本触れさせね
え。だったら要求を飲めよ。
俺はさやの父親だ。だが警察官だ。お前らの要求は飲めねえ。
じゃあさやはどうなってもいいんだな。ああんたはさやより仕事を取ったんだな。
I can't do the eyebrow thing. Hang on a second.
殺せよ。
なんだと？
殺せって言ったんだ。
Is that good?
ここで俺が死ねば、さすがにお前らでも逃げ切れないだろう。日本の警察は甘くねえんだよ。
I can also do just
さやはきっと俺の友達を守ってくれる。
じゃあ望み通りにしてやるよ。別に俺らは殺なんか怖くねえ。鼻から失うものなんてねえんだよ。
Just fucking kicks the guy out of the way. He's just like, bam.
あんた
初めっからグルだったわけだ。腐ってるぜお前ら。
All of you.
一緒にぶっ殺してやる。
Time to Jackie Chan this shit. Don't eye me. The guy was an idiot for fighting me with all kinds of furnishing for me to grab. Headbutt. Yeah.
20が400だって。冗談にしても笑いやしねえな。証文出せよ。
It wasn't my fault. The room was full of furniture. I had to use all of it. Look.
借りができたな。
You don't fight Johnny Depp on a plane. You don't fight Jackie Chan in a furniture shop, and you don't fight Donnie Trejo in a china shop.
そうしてると。
やだ。じろじろ見ないでよ。お父さん。
Don't bonk me. You know I'm right.
さや、俺はダメな親父だ。
Especially for slapping her. Jesus.
お母さんとお前から逃げ出した。だから、お前に何も言えた義理じゃないと分かってる。でもな、それでも一つだけ約束してくれないか。自分をもっと大切にしてくれ。さやが幸せになるためにもっと自分自身を愛してくれ。それでもお前が苦しんだり危ない目にあったら俺は守ってやる。
Just absolutely fucking backhands her. It's like I could do better.
わかったから。
Punches her in the nose. Oh, there's so much more I could do for you.
キリュウ。
So tired.
おはよう、伊達君。
課長、何か。
はい。
ああ、ちょっと話がね。
何のお話でしょうか。
10年前、君は独断である事件の捜査を進め、その後のキャリアを滞らせた。二度目がないことは分かっているね。
ええ、まあ。
単刀直入に言おう。今君が調べていることからすぐに手を引くんだ。
どの件でしょう。
交渉の余地はないんだよ、伊達君。今すぐ手を引きなさい。話は以上だ。
What case are you talking about?
失礼します。
おい、伊達君。
今のが伊達刑事かね。
はい。
どうだ須藤君。
誘拐犯なんですね、伊達さんと一緒にいるのは。
そうだ。依頼主は明かせないが捜索願いが出ている。上から直接頼まれた異例の任務だが、一家で引き受けてもらえないか。
The fuck?
わかりました。
What the hell is going on? Oh, Nishiki. Cookie for Shabor! Here's your cookie, Shabor.
その様子じゃ、柏木に泣くまで怒られたって感じやな。
島野のおじき。
Hello, Shimano.
聞いたで。踊れの子分に手空いとるようやの、錦山。
せっかく風間のおやさんにいろいろと便宜を図ってもらったってのに、俺が不甲斐ないせいで。
やっぱりわしが思ってた通りや。風間っちゅう男もえげつないことをやりよるの。
どういうことです？
本気でお前を大事に育てる気。
It's nice finding another Australian furry streamer. Yeah, not to worry. There's a lot more of us than you realize. It's just, you know, you have to like go for like all kinds of different time zones. Like right now, Kusaki and Scribbly Noodle I think are streaming right now. So but, you know, they're pretty high level sort of streamers. So maybe you might prefer smaller ones like me.
まあ、嫌な思い散々させて、お前が値上げるのを待っとるんやろな。
そんな。
これだけは覚えとけ。風間はな、桐生に組を持たせたいだけや。桐生のやったことは絶対許されへん。せやけどな、皮肉なもんやが、桐生の評判はすこぶるええで。まあ、大物やったちゅうのは、それなりの貫禄がつくもんや。シャバに出た時は、もうお前には手の届かんところにおるやろな。親殺しの外道でも、貫禄さえつきゃそれなりに上になれるんがわしらの世界や。ひょっとすると目障りなくらいでかい組こしらえるかもしれん。
でも柏木さんは桐生が出てきたら俺の組で面倒見てやれって。
どこ目覚ませ。面倒見られんのはお前の方や。まあでもそん時は桐生もやりづらいやろうからの。お前の扱いには困るはずや。人も殺せんガキが無理しても先はあらへん。仇にでもなれや。
He's definitely put a seed of doubt in there. Chapter 7! Let's go. You follow Kusaki and Z, then you found Natsu and Cyberpunk. Nice.
こいつを見てくれ。
Okay. Why are we looking at a flower tattoo on a woman's breast?
今朝、東京湾に上がった女の水死体だ。
この入れ墨。
Oh!
死因は頭部挫傷および出血多量によるショック死。死体はコンクリートの重しをつけられて沈んでいた。かなりの拷問を受けている。
水木なのか。
なんとも言えんが、ただこの入れ墨、水木の入れてた模様と一緒なんじゃないのか。
これは
どうした？
この辺りよく見てくれ。小さく歌って文字が見えないか。
おお。
こいつは二代目歌彫りの仕事だ。この彫り師は必ずどこかに自分の銘を入れるんだ。
じゃあこの死体の入れ墨もその彫り師が？
ああ、俺の背中も彫ってくれた。占領通りとピンク通りの間の竜神会館にいるはずだ。写真の女が水木ならはるかには酷だ。あいつには伏せておく。
ああ。
ちょっと出てくる。
いってらっしゃい。
Oh, it's so then that way we can do like a, you know, a confirmation of whether the entire tattoo design is, you know, unique or if it's something that's being like, you know, used a lot of different places. Oh my god, it's the middle of the day!
Oi, Timmy! 止まれ！
これからどうする？ちょっと下が！
Just ignore him. We'll get out of this soon. Cat! Made it.
お久しぶりです。
おお、桐生か。
はい、先日出所してまいりました。
で、世良の葬式であの大暴れか。
ど
うした？趣味でも入れ直しに来たのか。
いえ。
この文様は月下美人だな。一年に一晩しか咲かねえって花だ。
実はこの入れ墨、
俺が彫ったって言いてえのか？確かにこれは俺の文様だが、最近は真似するやつも多い。俺は彫った入れ墨は全部覚えてるんだ。こいつは俺じゃねえよ。
そうですか。
もしもし。
もしもし。
おお、お前か。ああ、いるぜ。錦山からだ。
え？
How the fuck does he know where I am?
桐生だ。
久しぶりだ、兄弟。
どうして俺がここにいると？
情報ってのは権力の大きいところに集まるもんだ。今の俺は欲しいと思った情報は大概手に入る。
水木の死体はもう見たか？
なんだと？
お前と差しで話がしたい。明日夜の10時、セレナで会おう。
桐生、背中の竜に色入れ直してやる。弱っちい竜じゃ今の錦山には勝てねえぜ。
Cool.
もう十何年も前か。お前は竜を、そして錦山は恋を背中に入れた。入れ墨ってのは背負ってるそいつ自身が光らせるもんでな。今錦山の背中はすげえ色に輝いてるはずだ。これでやっとあいつはお前と対等に張り合える。
俺と？
黄河を泳ぐ恋は山脈を経てやがて龍門に入る。
Yep, this is the... If you're ever wondering why in the game Pokemon Magikarp, which looks very much like a koi fish, evolves into a Gyarados, which is like very much a flying sea dragon fucking Pokemon. The reason is because of this mythos, this like story legend here about the koi fish that essentially like swam up a river, up a waterfall, and through its perseverance and crossing over like the Dragon Gate, it becomes a dragon. So it's like a very popular like mythos, much like how in Japan there's all sorts of like dog guardians that have a sword with them. Like that's a huge like, it's like Americans with their, you know, cowboy and Indian westerns, or like, you know, the whole riding on horseback is a symbol of power in a lot of literature and media. This is the same sort of thing. It's just synonymous in the culture.
だ恋は竜に生まれ変わるんだ。奴は竜門を登り切ろうとしている。最後に竜になるためには、お前という相手が必要なのかもしれねえな。
Well, argumentatively, you could say that the only reason he's gone as far as he has is because without Kiryu in the picture. Like, that's... Like, the only reason he is where he is right now is because Kiryu was not here for 10 years. So, it's less that Kiryu is a rival to Nishikima, but is more a blocker, because, you know, he already has like he's the dragon of Dojima. Everyone looks to him as like, oh, this is what a dragon is and such, and then they look to Nishikima and they're just sort of like, he's not a dragon and he won't become one. They see it. They don't see the koi fish on his back as like a symbol of like progress and perseverance. Instead, they just see the koi fish as it's too early for you.
あそこか。まあ確かにそうだろうが。
So.
行かないよ。私。
どうしたの、はるかちゃん。
おじさん、さっきお母さんのこと調べに行ってたんでしょ。なのに、なんで連れて行ってくれないの？
Also, what happened to your hair?
私、お母さんに会いたいの。ここに遊びに来たんじゃないの？
はるか。
このペンダントでしょ。このペンダントがみんな欲しいんでしょ。私なんてどうだっていいんでしょ。おじさんだってきっと100億円欲しいから私と。
Oh, don't do that! What the fuck is it with these men?
すまん。
お母さんのこと教えてよ。
That is not on! What the fuck? That wasn't... No! What the shit? You don't just slap girls, let alone random girls.
何か知ってるんでしょ。ねえ、教えてよ。なんとか言いなさいよ。
はるか、キリはな、お前のお母さんが。
うるせえ、言うな。はるか、今は俺を信じてくれ。それしか言えない。
私だって信じたい。でも。私にはお母さんしかいないの。おじさんが勝手にするって言うなら、私もそうする。さよなら。
はるかちゃん。
はるか。
Can I pet the dog? No, apparently I can't pet the dog.
まずいぞ、キリュウ。
We need to go after her. Absolutely.
あ、桐生さん。あれ？でもさっき例の。あ、はい。すぐそこのゲーム。でも。
どんな感じだった？
ええ。うつむいたまま歩いてたんで。
そうか。
いや、ちょっとそこまでは。
わかった。
セガ。
なんか酔っ払った怪しい男が幼いの？へえ。七福通りの駐車場のところ。
Oh my god, that fucker has a top hat. Holy shit. Hang on. All right.
横に移動します。よく狙ってください。どうします？うまく狙えましたか？
Here we go. This is it. Come on, catch this fat head. Catch the fat head. Come on. No, you bastard! Alright, we can do this, We're getting the one with the top hat.
よく狙ってください。次はどこを狙いますか？移動します。うまく狙えましたか？
Here we go. Go for the tail. Oh, you motherfucker.
自動で動きます。横に移動。よく狙ってください。どこを狙うかがポイントです。移動します。うまく狙えましたか
？No, you pushed forward, you nimmy. You pushed the claw forward. Oh. One more yen. Let's try again. Let's try again.
次に進みます。よく狙ってください。次はどこを狙いますか？移動します。
Thanks for the heads up, Zeebs. It feels good to know someone like you is supporting me. Alright, let's see how we go. Come on. Yes! There we go! We got the axolotl with the top hat. No, he's not worth a lot, is he?
また遊んでくださいね。
Alright, well, some kids got 2 free turns, so... Those things... No, okay, not in the video game, but in real life, oh, absolutely. You can't trust any of the crane games in real life. They are designed in a fashion where it takes a lot of tedious work to get them more than just, you know, luck or skill. I've seen the crane games. I've seen Sea Dog VA's crane games. They look fun, but I know that it's a scam. I know I'm better off like just finding a reseller or something like that for them rather than, you know, wasting my own money. Alrighty, there's the drunk. Hey, you. See a girl around here? Bring me some liquor. Do I have any liquor? Let's give you the premium malt.
酒だ酒
おい
But a man in a suit took her away. Where did they go? He's talking on the phone about a park somewhere. A phone at a park somewhere sounds... Oh. They're talking about, like... Okay, let's go for the children's park first. I doubt that they were over at the, I doubt they went close to Purgatory. So let's go for the children's park. Video games are less of a scam in real life. Well, yeah, it's because they're not programmed very well. Is the thing as well. All right, that's another coin locker key. I don't know where the coin lockers are, but you know, maybe I'll just like collect all the keys and then I'll start opening them all.
Yeah. 聞き込みではるかの足取りを追うんだ。
Oh hey, another thingamadiggy. My goodness, I'm finding quite a lot of these. Alright, so nothing here. Alright, let's take the taxi for an easy Alright, taxi time. Back to the other place. Did they? Oh my gosh. They misled me with the little notices. They misled me with the little, like, dots on where they could have been. They're over at the park near the Serena. I know exactly the park they're talking about.
Yeah.
Also, let me just quickly get some. Oh wait, don't be rude to the lady. Got him. Excellent. Alrighty, and we got ourselves some sights. Alright. Oh, there's a little key in this park as well. Well, you're looking suspicious. Hi there, Incineroar.
伊達刑事ですね。こちらもお迎えする準備が整ったところです。ご案内いたします。
You took me away!
ここはスターダストじゃないか。
We've already been here.
どういうことだ。
お入りになればわかりますよ。
No, it won't. We've been there twice already. Why is it so empty every time we visit it? What's up with this place?
お待ちしてました。桐生さん。
はるかは無事なんだろうな。はるか。くそ。和樹たちはどうした？
別室です。縛るくらいはしていますが、無事ですよ。
何者だお前ら。
それはやめておきましょう。お互いのためです。それよりお嬢さんが持っていたはずのペンダントは？お渡し願います。
渡せばはるかを返すんだな。
もちろんです。ストップ。そこで止まってください。ペンダントをこちらに投げてください。
Ow! What was that for, Morse?
すまない。
Nice. Alright, let's see how we do. Oh my god! You were gonna shoot a child!
伊達さん、無事か？
いや、はるかが。くそ、浅井が腕を撃たれた。
Oh fuck! Alright, we got shit to do. Who the fuck are they? Alright, so I gotta be careful of someone shooting me. A mysterious organization. What? You got guns? This is fucking unfair. Fuck's sake. I did not see it. I'm in the middle of fighting right now. Oh, I am nearly dead. Hang on a second. Absolutely right there, shit! Get wrecked! Well, we've earned ourselves a lot of XP there. Nope. Pendant's mine, thank you very much.
どこの組織のもんだ。極道じゃねえな。なんでペンダントのことを知ってる？おい、答えろ！
俺たちは
No, god damn it. They're very secretive if they're gonna kill their own subordinates to stop a leak.
はるか、大丈夫か？
How's it going, Morse, by the by?
傷は浅い。大丈夫だ。心配ないだろう。
おじさん、助けに来てくれたんだね。
Yes, we did. I feel really sorry that he had to
私が
slap
勝手なことばかりするから。
はるか、俺もお前に謝らなきゃいけないことがあるんだ。
How am I doing? I'm doing fairly alright. Earlier on, I mentioned how my bathroom scales are broken because for a few days it was like, oh, we can't weigh you at all. And then I moved it into another room and it would weigh me at 123 kilos. The next day I was 130. The day after I was 100. And then this morning I was like 141 kilos. And then I weighed myself this afternoon and it doesn't even want to turn on even after I swap the batteries. So I think I've broken my scales.
ちゃんと聞いてくれるか。
Because there's no way I gained like 9 kilos over a day.
水木、お前のお母さんな、もう死んでいたんだ。すまない。俺は助けることができなかった。ごめん。ごめんな。はるか。
I feel like that gravity got heavier thing is bullshit, Morse. I just got fatter. But not the 9 kilos thingy-majiggy part. Just the fact that I'm like 130 kilos right now.
Kiryu-san!
Cool, you guys aren't dead. Good
撃
to
たれた
know.
男の胸にこのバッジがついていた。俺はこの線から少し探ってみることにする。
ああ、頼む。すまない。こんな騒動に巻き込んじまって。
何言ってんすか。そんなことを言わないでください。
そうですよ。俺らの方こそ銃向けられたっきり何もできませんでした。すみません。
Ah, shame.
おう、このお嬢ちゃんが噂の
But
子
yeah,
か。
so I've started putting a few more things on my throne, and I'm probably going to continue putting on a few more things as well, like free weights or like a little foot bath massager
で
thing.
もあんたに頼まれ事するのも妙な気分だな。
ああ、俺もだ。
ここを好きに
Maybe
使
I
う
should
と
go
いい。
for a bath.
まあ外見はちょいとあれだが。
花屋、恩に切る。ありがと
う。まあいいって。ここならヤクザも警察も攻めては来ねえ。安心していいぜ。
桐生、俺は一度署に戻る。明日は錦山と会うんだ。今日はもう休め。
ああ、そうさせてもらうよ。
Maybe I want to get some sleep too. Oh, shit happened here. What the fuck happened here?
伊達さん。
須藤。
ここは世良の殺害現場です。四課の伊達さんが何か。
そうだな。邪魔したな。
10年前のあなたは私にとって目標だった。的確な捜査、周到な計画、そして事件への執着心。どれをとっても刑事として一流だった。それが今、あなたの行動が理解できません。
何が言いたい？
私はあなたとあなたの協力者を監視しています。これは忠告ですよ、先輩。
須藤、お前に真実は捕まえられしない。
Eh. The hideout is now accessible. The game can be saved. Yep, cool. Sounds nice. You have some time before you have to meet up with Nishiki. You and Haruka both have been through a lot too. Why don't you take a well-deserved break? But Haruka's hurt. Wound's not deep, and for a kid like her, sometimes laughter really is the best medicine. No, she's been grazed with a bullet. You're going to send her to a hospital, so then that way she doesn't get infected, and she doesn't need to have like a scar.
おじさん。
本当に。
元気だよ。
わかった。
桐生さん、おひ。
まあな。
What's up?
じゃあ面白い場所がありますね。
Lottery ticket seller
中道通りと太平通りのぶつかる場所に。
Taihei Boulevard.
宝くじじゃ。
いやいや、話はこれからです。
Talk to the and she'll take you somewhere even more exciting. Alrighty then, looks like we're going to go to an like some sort of underground gambling thing. Excuse me. Okay, so she's just at the front of Millennium Tower. Fine, we'll walk. Hey kid, do you want to gamble? Such an Australian thing. Just being like, hey kid, do you got fake ID? You can say you're at least 18? Just being like, hey, you could gamble. Australia has a lot of gambling. It's kind of insane. Alright, what was the next thing I was going to update? This one. Health? Absolutely. 50 points. And then it's like 50 points again, and then that's 85. Holy bejesus. Alright, so maybe we start investing into other... We can't invest into that. We can invest into here. Move and it's thinking to dig it. Cool. Charge forward. Allow when you're using a rush combo. Double fist. Demonic shadow. Evade enemies, attack deftly, and circle around behind them to vanish from their sight. The first time you grab... Actually, that's good. I'll go with that one. It's just like, hey kid, do you want to gamble? It's like, kid, don't think too hard about it. Gambling is fun. Just don't think about like the odds are never in your favor and you cannot control the outcomes, so you're more likely going to be losing money than getting money. That's 50 points. That's another 50 points. 10, 50, 10. Alright, let's go with this one. Being drunk makes you immune to paralysis and stun. Heat gauge will engage dramatically, increases the heat gauge. Cool.
Haruka は携帯電話持ってるのか？
持ってるわけないじゃない。ひまわりにいたんだから。
なんだ。伊達さんが最近はガキでも持ってるなんて言ってた。さすがにみんながみんなってわけじゃないんだな。
クラスの子はみんな持ってるよ。放課後はいつもメールで待ち合わせしてたりするし。
え？文通でも。
Oh, goddamn.
やん。
Hey ya!
Alright. Alright, so she's already said that. Alright, fuck it. I'm not gonna wait for you, kid. You can run, you can chase after me. Think of it as a game of tag.
あら、ああ、入場するには10万円分の掛け札を先に買ってもらうけど。
Jesus Christ! All right.
はい。じゃあ10万円分の掛け札ついてるね。
Get you 1,000 points worth of gambling tags. Gambling house wooden tags. Cool. Yay. Gambling. Impressive. Didn't think that was gonna happen.
何ここ。
まったく。手の込んだものを作るやつがいたもん。
いらっしゃいませ。
Alrighty.
勝負。国の藩。お客さん、子連れかい？
社会勉強さ。
We're on a field trip, sure. Yeah, we've just traveled from Canberra to Darwin to go check out the casinos.
入ります。さあ、張った張った。
じゃあ。
Fine, let's go even.
威勢のいい子だ。
じゃあ。
Alright, fine, we'll go even. 入
ります。さあ、張った張った。なんだろう。
これは。じゃあ。
Let's go with a low.
長半駒揃いました。
Hey, evens, nice kid.
入ります。さあ、張った張った。そうじゃね。
これは。じゃあ。
Let's go 200.
長半駒揃いました。サブロクの半。残念だったな。入ります。さあ、長半か。
これは。半。
長半駒揃いました。国の半。
ナイス。
やるよ。入ります。さあ、張った張った。そうじゃじゃ。
これは。半。
Do we just want to use all our... Oh, we can only bet a maximum 200. Okay.
長半駒揃いました。死にの長。
なあ。
残念だったな。入ります。さあ、張った張った。
これは。
Let's just use all the money.
長半駒揃いました。26の長。
Nice.
Yo.
You're weirdly good at this, kid.
ちょっと中座させていただきます。すぐ戻りますんで。
Why do I feel like this kid's about to
楽
catch
勝だね、お
cheater?
じさん。なんか私才能あるかも。
Okay, first off, kid, it's luck. You're not
私のお
good
か
at
げで勝っ
this.
たん
You're
だからね。
lucky.
何かおごってよ。
ああ、
Sure, we'll give you some pocket money after all this.
いやお待たせしました。年のせいか小便が近いもんで。さあ続いて参りましょう。入ります。勝負。
次はね。
Alright.
入ります。
We're just easily like.
さあ、分かった。そうじゃね。
これは
超半駒揃いました。26の超。残念だった。
Don't be mad with the kid.
お座りいただきましょうか。お客人。
I'm not interested in being manhandled.
何しやがる。
何やってんだこれ。
邪魔すんじゃねえよ。
邪魔したな。
待ちやがれ。
おじさん。
おい、あれ。
What? That is an elaborate fucking dice right there.
イカ様じゃねえか。
どうなってんだこれ。ふざけがって。
That is so fucking elaborate.
出てこい。イカ様だ。つまみ
You
だ
could
ぜ。
have just like made it weighted on a side so it's just like more likely to be something rather than it actually being like all that complexity. It's like a Tekken fight. There we go. Gotcha. Well, that was some easy gambling since the dice were loaded.
もう勘弁してくれ。
さまあやらかした壺振りのけじめ。どこでも相場が決まってるもんだ。
いや、でもそれは。
お客人。大変失礼いたしました。手前、ここの仕切りをやらせていただいております。
Hello.
この壺振りは流れ物でして。どう知らぬこととはいえお詫びの言葉もございません。この落とし前はきっちりつけさせていただきますので。
そんな。
この後始末手前どもにお任せいただけませんでしょうか。もちろんただでとは申しません。
俺たちも帰るとこだ。
Hi, YY.
あとはあんたに任せるさ。
ご理解いただきありがとうございます。
I broke my
今後とも
scales.
ごひいきに。
I had them for 5 years, and they no longer weigh me properly / don't weigh me at all. They broke. Yay, I got 100,000 yen for my trouble.
そろそろ時間だ。はるかをサイの代わる。
Alright, we're heading back to Purgatory. Ooh, caramel. I'm a fan of triple butter popcorn. That's my personal favorite. I don't know why. I like the more buttery popcorn than just, you know, caramel, chocolate, or any of those kinds of ridiculousnesses. I assume salted caramel. Like, I don't know. I could not imagine. Oh, we're in a fight. Get kicked in the head. I'm gonna need to eat something. I am very hungry. I am very weak and very hungry. Please give me food. Yum, yum, yum. Sure, let's go into here. I'm pretty sure there's food in here. Show me a table and give me everything I can have. Alrighty, we are going to have... Ooh, we can have the... Alrighty. We're gonna have some spicy food. So we're gonna have the bippy and the spicy beef soup. You know what I really want to go to again at one point and have like a little more money than I normally do for it? I want to go to a sushi train again. I want to go to one of those ones where it's got like the little tablets on them as well and such. So you have the option of like, you know, having the conveyor belts. I very much like the conveyor belt ones because like there's all kinds of different varieties and what have you. And plus, like when tuna, for instance, is utilized, I don't have a problem with the tuna that's on the sushi train belt. I don't normally go, and I don't normally order from the menu the tunas or some of the easy nagiris. I go for the aburis because those are like lightly toasted and they've got like a barbecue taste to them. It's fantastic. I think I need to remember to look for a good sushi train place when I go down to the Gold Coast for Furdu and a takoyaki restaurants. I need to find a place, you know, the ones that are like the whole, like, you know, doing the cling 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 cling, they do like a thingy majiggy with the special fried rice and then they flip eggs and crack them and all that kind of such. I want to go to one of those restaurants. Bam, 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 bing, ding, bang. There we go. Hibachi grill. Okay, so that's one I need to look for. Hibachi grill. I will need to remember this if I can. I know why you're here. Not even close. It's just wherever you go. Trouble's not far behind. Noted. Also, is there like anything here for me to pick up? No, there isn't. Okay, cool. Oh, Morris, are you going to Furdu?
そろそろ時間だ。
The places that
10年
do
前
the
と
whole fancy
今の錦山は
performance.
別人だぜ。
I think
何
those
仕
are
掛けてくるかわからねえぞ。
called Benihanas. That's the American franchise.
10 年
Can't
ぶりの
afford
親
to
友と
fly to
飲んでくる
Australia. Fair enough.
少し遅くなるかもしれない。
うん気をつけてねおじさん
それにしてもキリュウ、お前10年前とあんまり変わってねえよな。
Alrighty. Leave her there. We get out. Ba-da-da-da-dun. I'm gonna use the taxi this time. And we're gonna take the taxi down to there. Because then there's the dude we can go to who you know, using the champion points, the completion points that we just used and shit, we can get stuff from him. This guy right here. Kiwami Bob. Alrighty. Alright, so in battle, we can get the Beast Amulet, the Lucky Bindings, the Yin Yang, Dragon, Beads of Good Fortune, and the Golden Biscuit. Let's go for the key thing. Dash for longer. Trouble Finder. Card Captor. Ooh, oh, we don't have enough completion points. Hi there, D-Kiss! Welcome to the stream. Apparently it's Tapanaki, not Hibachi. Hello there. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully you're having a wonderful time. Alrighty. We are getting through more of Yakuza Kiwami. I am a little sleepy, I will be real with you, and it's very tempting to go for a bath. Thank you so much for the hyper himbo, I greatly appreciate it.
なんでここに？これから錦が来るんだぞ。
だからよ。あなたたち、殺し合いでもするんじゃないかと。
That's not gonna happen for another few chapters, I'm sure. Slimy son of a bitch.
久しぶりだな、兄弟。
I feel like every time he's going like kyonyai for bro, I feel like he's doing it in a very, you know, sarcastic tone where it's like, good to see you, bro. Where it's just like, he very much does not think of him as a bro anymore.
お前とこうして飲むのも。ああ。面会にも行かなくて悪かった。俺もいろいろ忙しくてな。
そうだろうな。
俺はどうしても100億を手に入れたい。
This dude is the villain.
お前が連れているガキとペンダントを渡せ。
その前に答えろ。なぜ水木を殺した？
殺す気はなかったんだ。ユミの妹を殺すつもりなんてな。
Now where's Yumi is the question, because like she like ran off and shit.
あ、親父。
何やってんだお前ら。
すみません。この女、結局口を割りませんでした。
誰が殺せと言った？
親父
！Well, that guy's gonna die next.
待ってください。
ユミの妹なんだぞ。誰が殺せと言った？誰が言ったんだ
！Can I flex? Check this shit out. I don't use this animation very much.
あとはきっちり片付けておきますから。
10年間、俺はユミの行方を追い続けた。ユミの妹がセレナで働いていると知り、俺はずっと彼女をマークしてたんだよ。いつかそこにユミが現れるんじゃないかってな。
はるかのこともそれで知ったのか。
巡り合わせだよな。あの娘はひまわりにいたんだ。俺たちが育ったあの孤児院にな。水木はその後アレスを持ち、そして姿を消した。ひまわりにいた娘も。そして登場界の100億が抜かれる。だがな、
それは
そうだ、ユミの指輪だよ。こいつが現場で見つかったんだ。ユミはいる。近くに必ずな。桐生、これは登場界の戦争だ。お前一人でどうなるもんでもない。悪いようにはしねえ。ペンダントを渡してくれ。
あれははるかにとって唯一残された母親とのつながりだ。お前らの戦争なんて関係ね
え。変わらねえな。だからユミもお前に惹かれたんだろう。みんなお前の味方をする。昔っからな。
お前、俺のことを憎んでいるのか？
わからねえ。だが結局俺はお前を裏切った。風間の親父もな。もう後戻りはできね
え。まさか風間の親さんを撃ったのは？
なあ、さすがにあん時は手が震えた。
やめてよ二人とも。
なんでだ。親さんに世話になった恩はねえのか？
まだくたばっちゃねえだろう。それに今はシンジも一緒だしな。
おやさん、着きました。
お前、シンジを盗聴して。
10年前のあの日から俺は誰も信じちゃいない。俺は俺のやり方で登場界のトップに立つ。どうしても水木の娘よこさねえならお前でも容赦はしない。
好きにしろ。だが遥かを渡さねえ。お前の道具になんかさせやしね
え。今更だがお前とはもう一度一緒にやりたかった。だがもう今日限り兄弟じゃねえ。
Oh no.
なんでこんなことになっちゃったの？
It wasn't like as if the last 10 years you had been falling down this pit of despair and darkness because of the unobtainable heights that people put you towards in place of Kiryu.
親父、手はず通りで。なあ、やってくれ。はい。
The fuck are you planning? Oh, okay. Alright, I guess we're doing this. It was a good idea for you to be in a bar with all these chairs and cushions? You were wrong! They were wrong! Like Jackie Chan in an antique store, you're about to get hit by a lot of history. Oh, that's incredible. Also, this controller has not stopped vibrating. Listen. Hang on, let me put it on the... Did you hear that?
お久しぶりです。桐生のおじき。親父の命令です。
Who the fuck are you?
恨まんでください。やれ!
I don't remember that man. Koji Shindo. Oh, okay. I'm just gonna disconnect the controller and plug it back in. There we go. my god! Hello, Eviscerator! Welcome to the stream, everyone! My name is Grant. I'm a variety himbo streamer. Right now, I am going through... Yakuza Kiwami because I have to get through all the Yakuza games because it's in my Game Pass and it's a worthwhile series to get into. Here we go. There we go. Would be great if it wasn't, you know. His men get the better than he does. Oh my god. Alright, here we go. The theme for his men play a grand total of 1 in the entire game. Really? I swear I've heard this more than once. Thank you, DJ Atomica. Hopefully you're doing all right. Wrong thing to drink. There we go. There we go. Was able to do another Kiwami. The theme for his men, not his boss fight. Ah, okay. Got him. Oh my goodness! 200 plus points of experience points. You cannot keep track of who's who. Alright, so the gray suit, red shirt is our main character, Kiryu. And this used to be his blood brother or something like that, Nishiki. Right now we're looking at Nishiki's past, as you can see, depicted because of his long mop hair instead of slick back hair. And that guy is like an asshole under his control, or within his family, but the thing is that Nishikima has like no actual control over his family. Oh my god, there was another raid! Hello! Hi everyone! Welcome to the stream! My name is Grant. I am a variety himbo streamer. Hi, I love you. Hi, I love you. Hello, Bork, Kendall, Thumb Fox. Welcome everyone from Foxy Boy VR stream. I hope you had a wonderful time over there. I hope Pal World was enjoyable for you. Why are all of you saying you love me? You've barely even met me. Why are you saying all these things? You've just met me. You've only just met me. Pal Worlding. Yeah, that sounds about. Wait, were you playing Pal World as well, Eviscerator? No, you were playing Ace Combat during like the Balkans War or something like that. Foxy Boy was doing Pal World. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, hi. So I do this whole like I've like been wondering what the hell I wanted to play and such without, you know, spending a lot of money to do it and shit like that. Like, I very much like to play Alan Wake 2, but I don't really have like the spare funds to like buy a game and what have you, considering I've been living like paycheck to paycheck. But what I do have is the Xbox Game Pass, which gives me like nearly everything but the latest Yakuza game. I've already played Yakuza Like a Dragon, so a few months ago, I started playing the Yakuza series starting from 0, and right now we are at the first Yakuza, but we're at the Yakuza remake, which is Yakuza Kiwami. And we're watching as Nishiki, like, in his pit of despair, turns to darkness.
So, 初めからそう言えよ。ま、今日はでかい取り立てが久々にできたんだ。組長さん、あんたラッキーだぜ。ま、借金まみれでギャンブル狂いの医者にも感謝した方がいいな。医者？でもあの野郎も急に金ができたから返済するとか抜かしやがって。一体何やりかしたんだろうな。
そいつからいくら切り取ったんだ？
3000万だ。
Yeah, basically.
親の遺産でも入ったのかね。おい、何なんだ。
It's the same doctor that scammed him out of the Yep. Yep.
3000万用意できますか?
So this dude was like, "Oh, your sister is gonna need an organ or something like that," and he's like, "You know, there's a black market, and it would only cost you like 30 million yen, which basically is like $300,000 to get like I think it was a lung or a liver." So it was really fucking expensive. Oh my god, look at this man. He's on a mission. Oh. Question is where's your sister during all this? Yeah. You had the hardest difficulty run of every Ace Combat game you own and you need to do for a charity goal from way back. Oh, okay.
私たちナースも困ってるんです。さっき急に院長に辞表を渡したとかで
300k, thank you.
に出て行ったっきり連絡もつかなくて。何かあったんですか?
So he literally just flew the coop after he paid off his debts. And he used you to pay his debts. So essentially, you didn't get any money from him because you wasted your time, like, paying him.
今までの時間は一体何だったんだ?
Nothing. You have accomplished nothing, Nishiki.
優子には時間がねえってのに。
The Yakuza don't want people with vulnerability. They exploit people with vulnerabilities all the time. They are not interested in vulnerability, but in loyalty. You were more into the Yakuza at your stage for vulnerability's sake, not loyalty. Just screaming into the void. Ah! Nishiki is such a tragic villain of his own. Yes, no, you're absolutely right, Dekiss. Like, I knew this was going to be a problem when it was like, oh, he's like he's going to be leading a family and such, and he will be there for when...
Sipping time sponsored by Hetvideo Restaurant.
Why do you steal my hair? Any whoosies. Alright, Het, let me just get a quick drink and I'll explain, like, the thingamadiggies. So yeah, so Nishiki was given a family that would originally have gone to Kiryu, but is now with Nishiki. Whether or not the people that joined into his family were people that Kazuma actually... What hair? But yeah, whether it was because... whether or not, like, the actual family members were going to be under Kiryu when, you know, Kazuma gave it to them or not is, you know, is an entirely different question. But the point is, Nishiki was given this family that was intended for Kiryu, and he was, like, very much in a case of prove yourself, and maybe you can keep this family instead of it going back to Kiryu when he's out in 10 years and shit. Which, you know, let's be real, if you're fucking up in the Yakuza where it's like, oh, we can just get a dude from... Thank you for the scan there, Het. Amazing. Absolutely beautiful. If you're, like, you know, set up with a family where it's like, oh, in 10 years, it might not even matter because someone who hasn't done it for a long time is going to be able to pick up the pieces and shit. That's some very low confidence. And so, in that time, he doesn't command the respect because I'm guessing the people under him thought they were going to get, like, a Kiryu-sama for cheap, but they didn't. They got Nishiki, who's not Kiryu. And then he gets, you know, pulled into this, you know, that fucking black market organ scheme by the doctor, and he makes the biggest mistake of begging for his underlings to help him. He showed vulnerability in an organization that exploits it. And the fact is most of his underlings were not respecting him already. So now you had someone that was like, oh, let me just, you know, let me just exploit this to make way for my own expansionist, desires in the Yakuza and shit. And, like, all this descends, and it's like Nishiki's just basically a case of, look, Nishiki, you're not a leader. You do not have this, you know, the same sort of, like, Kiryu thing of being able to just sort of be, like, a desensitization to people's woes and to quarter yourself off. You're way too emotional. That's fine for foot soldiers. That's not fine for generals. Was more specifically, he had to lead the family and watch over Kiryu when he got out. Kiryu was never going to take control of it because of the whole patricide thing. Possibly. Sad part is, by that point, had been established in the family as Kiryu's lesser brother, someone who had only operated with Kiryu, so Nishiki proving himself to have a family was always an uphill battle. It would have always been an uphill battle, but the thing is that if Kiryu had a family as well, and then Nishiki had his own, but maybe then? But the fact of the matter still remains that Nishiki, so long as Kiryu was in the picture, Nishiki was always going to be seen as lesser, which is unfortunate because, as we've seen, after 10 years, Nishiki has gone to a spot that I don't think Kiryu would have gone to himself in 10 years. I'm very much of the thought that the only reason Nishiki has succeeded is when there was a true removal of Kiryu in his life. No one was... Hang on a second. The traffic cone is huge.
Nani?
Cookie for Bookie! Oh, would you look at that? It's Majima. What are you doing here? Ain't it obvious? He was hiding.
Yeah.
What a wasted of an attack. But yeah, it wasn't until everyone just sort of gave up on Kiryu after, like, let's be charitable and say, like, 2 years after he was in prison or something like that. Everyone just sort of moved on from the Dragon of Dojima, which then gave the opportunity for Nishiki to do his own thing. Yes! Oh, I thought he was gonna wear the thing. But yeah, it's weird to think Majima was like a calm, collected person in Yakuza 0, and here he is, a fucking madman degenerate, getting stronger, one step at a time. Legs cramp, that's what happens when you stand in one place so long. You should have found me sooner. I'm gonna walk this off. This wasn't in the original Yakuza 1 as well. This is something that was introduced for Kiwami. Yes! We ranked up. We've learned Majima Sensor. Alright, so what is it that I'm doing next? Hang on, he'll say it. I just need to stand here on the spot and then he'll tell me what I need to do next. Can't afford to get mixed up with the police right now. Better keep a low profile. Alright, so I guess we are heading back to Purgatory. The Majima Sensor, which only works when you aren't in heat mode. Oh, really? So, like, you have to have, like, no... But, like, that's a very weird state to be in, because normally at the end of the fight, you are in heat mode. Because, like, you've actually, like, been able to destroy whoever the fuck decided to fight you at the start. What the fuck happened here? Oh my god, there was a fire at the park. What the fuck? Who started this shit? What happened? Oh shit, there's an explosion of all things?
Oi, Hunter!
the smell of burnt trash would be a fucking disgusting smell. It would be absolutely grody.
だってさ、はるかは
すまん。奴らまさかここまで派手にやってくれるとは。
何があったんだ。はるかはどうした。
ほんの1時間くらい前だ。
It was only an hour ago. She was walking around some homeless people. Please don't tell me she started the fire.
はるか。
It'd be really dumb if she did.
何してるんだ。
私やっぱりここにいちゃいけない気がする。
え？
私桐生のおじさんのこと好きだけど、私がここにいるとおじさんに迷惑がかかっちゃう。何度も危ない目に遭っちゃう。
はるか。
だから私はいなくなった方がいいの。お母さんももういないし。本当はもっとおじさんたちと一緒にいたかったけど。
Oh, Jesus.
はるか。
Oh, it was a raid.
What? すまねえ、桐生。奴らギャングの連中だ。はるかをさらっていきやがった。
ギャング？
この町のグレン隊だ。ヤクザのヤバい仕事なんかを引き受けてる。赤、白、青の3つに分かれてるんだが、まとめて襲ってきやがった。
はるかさらったのは何色なんだ。
河原のシステムがダウンしちまってる。わからねえんだ。
ならしらみつぶしにするしかねえな。
俺は署で情報を集めてくる。はるかの居場所がわかるかもしれん。
わかった。
Alrighty.
Oh.
Oh, hello? Majima? Majima! Here we go. Let's do this, let's fight. I can take you on. This won't be too hard. So close to getting it. Did you ever do that thing at the shrine that they were emailing about? Wait, what shrine? What shrine? Hang on, let me check my emails. You're starting to pack a punch. You never cease to amaze me. You're looking pretty good. Oh, Shine Club. Not yet. I went there previously, but nothing really happened, so I think I need to, like, go there again. Give me a second. It is this way. Oh, hang on. Maybe it's... Is it down here? No, it isn't. Where is it? Should be around here somewhere.
No.
A wannabe Yakuza. What? You're the man known as the Joe of the West. Haven't seen that. Prepare yourself! Alright, time to beat up this guy. He end him after that, then you can... Alright, here we go. Also, I need to use some of those experience points I got. Kano. My dream is to make my name for myself in the underworld. Absolutely not. I am not interested in training. Fine, you can be my minion. Would be a good place to start. See you later. Kano is going to get fucked up. Yeah, I guess I was the champion district. Give me a minute as I try and find this shine place. Did I walk right past it? Karaoke on? Nope. Nope. Asia. Okay, there's shine. Alright, so give me a second. I gotta go down here. And then hang a right. And then hang a right here. Should be on the corner. So here, right? Alrighty. It's Majima, isn't it? How the fuck did they let you wear that with all your tattoos? Oh my god, they even have the fucking, like, heart thingy-majiggy. You gotta call me Goromi. What's your problem? You love the clubs and you can't stand that I'm here, all dolled up for you? It's understandable. If you went into a club and got a man assigned to you, any guy in his right man would be pissed. So what do you think? You want to slug me, don't you? Maybe we should just go outside and have a brawl. No. Right now, we're just a customer and a cabaret girl. We should enjoy our drinks. Oh, is just what I'd expect from you, Kiryu-chan. I like it. Let's say you put your best moves on me. Fine. I'll accept the challenge. Good. What do you want to drink? Alright, let's just get the most expensive fucking thing. Oh, we don't even get a choice of drink.
Kiryu-chan wa konai
naru like this often? No, not really. I found a bar I liked and that's where I used to drink. An opportunity to drink with a lady like me. Don't come around too often if you know what I mean. Don't fall too hard. Well, yeah, because he ran a cabaret club. He was the Lord of the Night. He ran a cabaret club. I know the feeling. Yep, real estate. Took a lot of sweat, but I went building by building, bringing camera up, showing the Wait, 2 cabaret clubs? What was the second one he was managing? I didn't go through the Yakuza 0 side stuff a lot.
Kiryu-chanの方からも話題触れんか。そうだな。
He likes burly men. A man's not a man at all if he ain't strong. You don't care at all about his looks if he's got money or if he's smart. Nah. I don't give a shit about that. When I'm with a guy, it's all about if I'm having fun. That's why he's gotta be strong. Thank you. Thank you, Sir Dragon, for making me strong. Why does he have to be strong for you to have fun with him? When a lady and man gets together, if they ain't fighting, they ain't doing it, am I right? Want me to fight you?
せやな。
おいおい。
ほんま。
Ridiculous. I never did the Club Sunshine side stories. There's very few like, you know, side stories I did in Yakuza 0 cuz look, I'm going to be real with you. I'm not a huge fan of the I'm not a huge fan of the beat 'em up fighting system. I very much like Yakuza's Like the Dragon turn-based. And I kind of got, and yeah, I don't know why. Those were just like a little more fun than this. I'm gonna see how far this goes. How far does he take this? I'm still that used to run a cabaret cup. Do you have any interesting stories? All my employees were just kids and it was nothing but a pain in the ass. Shit was stressful. Cabaret girl like me would have everyone in the club happy. Wasn't in my nature to use ladies as a source of income. Second, doing business in honest man style ain't in my bones. We overcame a lot of tough situations together. And through it all, I couldn't help getting a little attached to my team. In the end, it was like kicking him out of the nest. Tough to say goodbye. What were you up to? You didn't hate it out. You only say it was painful because those girls' nose were near to your heart.
キルちゃんも一度やってみたらどうや。キャバクラの経営。きっと客の時とはちゃう目線で楽しめると思うで。ほんまか？
Yes! So close! Sunshine was a great change of pace from the brawling. Maybe that was the issue, is that I needed to have, like, I needed to take Yakuza 0 a lot more slowly. But the thing is that I don't want to stick around in the earlier Yakuza series. I want to go over to, like, Infinite Wealth at some point. But or like, you know, sometimes it's tempting to, like, you know, go into Infinite Wealth and be like, oh, and then we, like, you know, dip back into wherever it is that I am in the Yakuza, like, series prior to Ichiban as our main protagonist.
せっかくシャバに出てきたよ。しゃあないの。孤独な桐生ちゃんのためにゴロミちゃんが一肌脱いだろやないか。
そうだな。
ほんまか。
Yes! It's honestly overwhelming compared to others because it's the third longest game before Infinite Wealth. Oh, okay. So Yakuza 0 was like a really long game. Okay, because this one feels a little bit quicker, I will be real with you. So, like, if Yakuza 0 is just, you know, the third long... I'm imagining the order of operation is that it goes, like, the Like a Dragon and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth are, like, 1 and 2. Is that it? So it's only when we got to the turn-based that there was, like, a lot more shit to do. Yakuza 0 was our longest, and Kiwami's 1 and 2 utilized the mechanical system, but they didn't add anything new into the story. After this game, you can skip back to Infinite Wealth. Kiwami 2's story doesn't affect much, nor do a lot of others. Well, if someone gifts me Infinite Wealth, I will most certainly play that, but I don't have an Infinite Wealth right now. It's not available on the Game Pass. Stop right there. Alright, moving on. Come on, let me just fight you. This is the whole reason. Am I gonna fight you in drag? Yes, I am gonna fight you in drag, apparently. Alright, here we go. Whack him. 0, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, 5, and Infinite Order from shortest to... Wait, what? Yes! Backhand drag. Did it! Okay, so hang on, I need to read this a little bit better. Honestly, after this game, you can skip. Yeah, okay, I've already mentioned that. As much as people say it's the best starting point, it's kind of overwhelming. Yeah, no, like, I asked people, like, earlier, it's like, oh, do I want to go by... Because, like, do I want to go by numerical order, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, infinite wealth? Or do I want to go by release order, which would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 6, and then infinite wealth? Because, again, I've already played Yakuza Like a Dragon. I'm not going to do that again. If you're interested, you should have been here when I was streaming it, like, however many years ago and what have you. I very much enjoyed the turn-based, and it was looked very fun, and it was and my decision was influenced because of a YouTuber that made like a Yakuza something in a nutshell, and it was just so funny where it's just like one moment in Yakuza you're having a very serious conversation where this man refuses to have you pass. Another thing. Behold the digger chimp, and it's just a fucking chimpanzee jumping into a digger, and you have to fighting the fucking digger. It's just so ridiculous, and I loved it. I know Yakuza can get ridiculous, and I feel like a Dragon was the one that, like, really showed the ridiculousness, because it had, like, the fucking stock exchange thing and the Mario Kart racing knockoff. Lad 7 out of context. It might have been that. Let me double check. It might have been that one. Okay, so, alright, so it goes from shortest to longest. So it goes Yakuza 0, Yakuza Like a Dragon, Yakuza 5, and then Infinite Wealth. Okay, alright, so that's like the top 4. People tell me 4 is one of the early bests before Infinite Wealth. Yakuza 5 was the longest game in the series. Only 0 and 1 really tie into one another. Yeah, but I feel like that's because 0 is just, you know, very obviously a prequel. The rest of the Yakuza games aren't very connected. Well, to be fair, Like a Dragon gives you an entirely different protagonist, so that was pretty decent. Yeah. Alright, we have defeated Majima. Or Goromi. There we go. Alright. We have learned the kick combo. Alrighty, alright, I need to go this way. Actually, where the fuck am I going? What? Actually, oh, we can do upgrades. Hang on a second. Boosted immensely. Resist guard. Boosted immensely. You recover health when you drink alcohol. Okay, so that's all the damage stuff, which is 5, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300. I need 350 points in order to get to the damage stuff. Boost your defense while doing a resist guard. Boost your attack. Recover health. Alright, so those. Alright, let's see if we can improve any of these. Slipping past a guard's enemy defenses, grab their face, then twist and stomp them into submission, only usable in climax heat. When you... Yep, alright, let's go with this one. I think I know what that one is. Being drunk is immune. Slipping past the guard. Evading an enemy attack and breaking their legs. If you run during climax heat, you won't recoil even when attacked. Increases the maximum amount of the heat gauge. Increases durability, does not decrease 1 defending with a while in calm. Shrug off being shot or stabbed while in climax gold. Nothing holds you back, not even knives or bullets. Tempting. Embody iron with a prize fighter. The power of your attacks is boosted when you're wounded. Yeah, that's a nice, like, you know, thingamadiggy. Evade an attack at the last moment, causing them to shatter their fists on the wall behind you. Embody the opening moments of a prize fighter bout. Is boosted until you take damage. Yes, please. one's a level 50. Increases the power. Boosts your counter. Increases the maximum. So those are all 50s. That's an 85. Wait, was that a 10? No, that's a 50. Alright, and then those are 50s as well. Alright, so I've basically gone through that circle. This one here, combo resist. There we go. And then, let's see, so this one, charging, guarded charge, bear hug. Changing your battle style immediately after finishing a taunt. I don't know if I'm going to do that a lot. Evading a can definitely circle around them to vanish while moving away from the enemy. Let's give it a try. Putting your guard up. Rally from a damaged state by weaving. Mighty charge kick. Pressure the enemy with a powerful combo. This uses up the heat gauge. Throw a full force right punch, then unleash a brutal flying kick. Change your battle style immediately after throwing your weapon. That one's interesting. But I'd rather continue increasing my health if I can. The series doesn't really like referencing previous games often, or it will go out of its way to pretty much write anyone who can connect the plots of the together out of story. Playing through Yakuza 1 Gaiden actually is somewhat recommended for infinite wealth. Nice. I know that's okay, so the Gaiden game is available on the Game Pass, so maybe that's something to play once we get through more of the series. 50 points. This one. That's 38. So that's 30, 30. And let's just go for these. Let's just go for these easy 10s. There we go. What? Yeah, these cost 10. Yeah, alright. And then we can't do any of these. So we've got the kick combo. What's this? Regain your impressive attack, however, it's still far from the power you had 10 years. Okay, so that was our strength thing. Know the location of Majima in Kamurocho alleyway. Wait, what was it? You're able when he's in an alleyway as long as you remain calm. Yeah. Reach rank E, then defeat Slugger in town. Check your emails. Reach rank D, then beat Breaker. Check your emails. Fight against Majima a total of 10 times. 20 times. 30. Alright, so it's a total of 30 times there. C, B... Alright, press when near with a handgun or a shotgun. Slashing attacks passed down, although it's an ancient bare-handed style, it seems to be based on traditional... Oh, that would have been a good one to have. And then that one wants me to do Coliseum shit. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna save my progress here, and I am going to call it a night. Because it's now past 9 p.m. for me. I have to work and such like that tomorrow. So I'm one of those classic I'm one of those classic 9 to 5 IF peeps. I don't get to stream all day as much as I'd like. So yeah, maxing out Dragon Style looks more intimidating than it actually is. Yeah, no, because I was looking at it and it's basically a case of, oh yeah, just bump into Majima a few times. And then, like, go to like, this master swordsman or something like that, and then do some Coliseum fights. Like, it doesn't look that hard to do, especially since it's, like, you're able to do this, like, regardless of how much EXP points you have, like, assigned to you or what have you. So, yeah. Alrighty. Actually, I should probably double check. Is the Yakuza game that I'm thinking of still available? So, yeah, so... Do we have... Yeah, so we have Kiwami 2 available. Yakuza 0, I've gotten that done already. Is there a way of just seeing the hang on a second. If I go to my library, and then so Kiwami 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, okay, hang on a second. So like a dragon, Gaiden, the man who erased his name. So I'll need to install that when I have a chance. Apparently the main story only takes 12 hours. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. I love that the Xbox Game Pass has a little subsection from the website how long to beat the game. Like, I think that's brilliant. How long to beat, like just adding that in there. Xbox is only missing Judgment. I'm not going to do the Judgment and all that kind of series. There's a few Majima encounters that are annoying to trigger. Not all of them are on Game Pass, though. Infinite Wealth, for instance, is not available on Game Pass. You have to purchase that one. But, you know, that's technically a given, considering, like, it's a brand new game. Like, you're not really supposed to be able to play, like, brand spanking new games on the Xbox Game Pass, unless it's something within Xbox's, like, first-party thing. But who knows when the next one of those will pop up. Alrighty then. I need to have a look and see who is online and who we might go and have a raid. Let us see. Oh, Mixie is doing a re-debut. They've changed their avatar a little bit. There's a lot more red. There's like racing decals on them and such. That's interesting. Hang on. Let me just double check. Is there... Because maybe not going for a big one. There's one encounter that requires him hopping into a battle in Mad Dog style, and he only does that outside the bowling place. Radio. Alright, and then Scribbly Doodle. You know what? We haven't raided into Scribbly Noodle in a long time, and, you know, I kind of miss that. I think we're gonna go raid into Scribbly Noodle. I know there's a lot of overlap between some of the viewers on Scribbly Noodle's channel and some of the viewers on this channel, but, you know, I haven't raided in a long time, and I want to, like, sort of, like, you know, see their art for a little bit, and, you know, blah, 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 words fail me. Kiryu-chan. Alrighty then. So, we're gonna go with Kiryu-chan as our raid message. If you have any emotes like the Arrive emote or something like that, then you're welcome to use those there. If you're subscribed to me, I have my own Arrive animated emote, which is gonna be which I think would be pretty good. And yeah, we'll go right into Scribbly. Hopefully we'll be able to get there before they're done with the rest of the stream, because they've been streaming for like the last 4 hours. But yeah, so I will be back online Wednesday night. We're going to be going through more Yakuza Wednesday night, unless someone gifts me Infinite Wealth, or Alan Wake 2. And other than that, Friday we're going to be streaming Baldur's Gate 3 with Code the Yoshi, and Saturday morning is once again Final Fantasy XIV. Other than that, I want to say thank you everyone who came along to tonight's stream. I greatly appreciate it. I didn't mention who did the raids. Hang on a second. A Foxy Boy, Eviscerator, if you're still here, thank you so much for raiding into me. I hope you had a wonderful time, and if you need to de-stress, unwind, or anything like that, go right ahead. And for everyone else, hopefully I'll see you all next time. Bye for now. Kiryu-chan.